lens is so fucked. Oh shit, it's inside the lens. Hey guys, what's up? It's Alec, Torelli. I'm bringing you this video from the lobby of the Intercontinental Koh Samui, one of the most beautiful hotels I've ever been to. And as you can tell, we decided to come to Asia. If you watched my last video, you know we were debating whether or not to go west to New York, Vegas, LA, or come east to Asia and Macau. So I want to talk a little bit about why I make these decisions and how I go about it and some of the things I think you could learn from it, as well as what I think about the importance and meaning of vacations in one's life in general. So first thing we do when we're sort of debating like what we want, and we're lucky to have a lot of flexibility and freedom in our life where we can kind of choose where we want to go when we want to go. But I think this principle still applies for people that are like even deciding what type of experience they want to have when they're going on vacation. Everybody has choice when it comes to how they spend their free time. And so one of the things that we like to do that has worked really, really well for us is physically like doing the activity of physically doing the work of going through exactly what our trip is going to look like. So when we opened up Kayak, and we opened up the landing page of different hotels, and we actually wrote out exactly what our flight path, our trajectory, and our hotel's experience was going to look like, it sort of puts you in the mood of being in the place that you're debating about going. And when we did that with New York, and then when we did that about Thailand, we felt much more connected to the experience coming here, being in Asia, being completely away from the Western culture, and just doing something on an island remote, away from everything, and our energy was sort of taking us there, which was something to listen to, right? It means that like that's what we felt like we needed to detach in our life. We needed that more than the high-speed energy and excitement of a place like Manhattan. Doesn't mean that Thailand is better than Manhattan. I think both are equally incredible depending on when you go in your life and what energy you're really trying, what part of your body, soul you're trying to fulfill, right? So there's sometimes where I much prefer going to Manhattan because I want that high-speed, fast-paced, exciting, upbeat life. There are other times when I really feel like coming here, just absolutely kicking it with my pina colada and just chilling, right? And so this is something that I think when you actually map out exactly what your experience is going to look like, it gives a lot of credence to figuring out like what you're trying to actually do, and it really helps. So that's one thing that's worked really, really well for us, and we have like a little spreadsheet we created where it's like, it's fun, you know, you like put the flight in and you see like which day you're gonna leave, where you're gonna go, exactly where you're gonna end up staying, and then of course like how much you're gonna spend in the right column. And a lot of times what we honestly find is like most of the time, if you're debating between two different options, like they end up costing pretty similar amounts. Of course, if you're gonna take like a road trip and like rustic, like backpack it, or do like an exotic 5-star vacation, they don't cost the same. But if you're debating like in your vacation time going to place A or place B, most of the time I feel like with a small amount of compromise, you can choose the destination you want while still keeping like most 80% of the luxuriousness of your trip, if that's what you're looking for. Or if you're looking for duration of a trip, you can keep 80% of that duration and still choose amongst a variety of different places. So there's some compromises you might have to make to go to a further destination, a more expensive destination, or a more luxury trip. Fine, but like there's not that many compromises you have to make. Or maybe some of the compromises you make is like, well, I'm gonna buy like 4 cans of tuna and not eat dinner for 4 days, and that's gonna like save our family like $300, and that's an extra 2 nights at our hotel. Like whatever it is, right? But there's like small compromises you can make to get the vacation you want, and that's what I really think the win is here. So I have some ideas about what I think vacation should be and the place it should be in people's lives. And I think that the common sort of thing, especially, I mean, it's different if you work for a job where you can only take vacation a couple weeks a year, right? And that's a situation where you don't have as much flexibility, so of course you're gonna have to somewhat adhere to the rules of your current work situation. But for people that work for themselves and that could ultimately choose to a larger degree, or at least have some flexibility, more than like a classic 50 weeks of working, 2 weeks of vacation. If you have like at all flexibility over like when you take your vacations and how you sort of decide when to detach and when to do things, I feel like most people in my experience do it somewhat backwards. And what I mean by that is they work super intensely for a period and then they reward themselves with a vacation. And I think that's good to do, and I think that's like generally the default process. And most of the time I think I find myself doing that as well, right? Like I work for 3 months, take a week or 2 weeks off, or whatever it is, whatever the balance is, depending on the intensity of the work I'm doing or whatever. But there are definitely times when, especially working for yourself and you have to like always find yourself to be motivated, it's easy to sometimes sort of get complacent or just feel like you have enough or just feel satisfied in whatever you're doing. And that's a great feeling. I'm not saying you shouldn't strive for contentment in your life. That's totally like the bigger picture goal. But there are times when like you just sort of get stagnant in your business and you lack sort of inspiration to keep going, and it sort of becomes like repetitive, mundane, robotic, right? This happens a lot in poker, where especially, right? When my experience of working with clients, the experiences I've had myself playing over the last 10 years, is like there are times in your poker career where you're just not super inspired to play, right? You sort of feel like a hamster on a wheel. You don't really know why you're still going. You're like, I could pay my rent, I could do things, and you're like, why am I going back to the table tomorrow? You lose that vigor to go back and grind and really like channel your energy and be in it. You know the feeling when you're in it, you're focused, and you go to the table and there's nothing you rather do except sit there and focus and play. This could be the same for your work or what stock trading or investing, whatever it is that you're doing. There's like a huge difference in quality and excitement between doing it with like a sense of passion and purpose and just doing it to go through the motions. So anytime I feel like I'm in that spot, I think I do the opposite of what I feel like conventional wisdom says. I take a vacation first to show myself like this is what I'm working for. This is the life I want to live. This is what's so epic and inspiring about being able to work for myself, being my own boss, and this is why I'm motivated to be able to do amazing, exciting things. It's not to say that I'm very like superficial. It's not to say like, oh, I only work hard so I could spend a couple hundred nights staying in epic resorts. Like, of course not. That's ridiculous, right? There's so many, so many more things that are important in life than just like luxurious vacations. So that's not what I'm saying at all. But there are times when I think the realization and the appreciation that sometimes is lacking and you just sometimes take for granted when it comes to working for yourself or just like having a life that you're trying to create, sometimes like it gets lost in the wayside of like the little nitty-gritty projects that you're trying to do. Like why isn't this converting better? Why isn't this working better? Why don't I have more sales in my business? Why am I not making more money? Why am I not? And then all this like BS stuff that you fill in the blank with that ultimately doesn't matter. So I think when you actually preemptively reward yourself with doing something awesome, it really like re-inspires you and shows you like what's really important. And I actually feel more connected to what actually matters in life when I do something like awesome and epic, like come to this amazing hotel here in Thailand, than I think people would otherwise think. So I don't really think it's a superficial experience at all. I think it's a very spiritual experience, and it like sort of helps you recommit to what's important and what your priorities are in life. And like when you get away from all the daily grind and minutia, you kind of realize, like, you kind of step back and look at the big picture and realize what's really important, what you're ultimately working for, and I feel like you go back more rested, connected, and inspired. So one example of when I did this was following the World Series of Poker in 2008 or something. I don't remember when it was, a while ago, and I actually I had a huge upswing in the beginning of the World Series, and then I lost a little bit back at the end, and then like I was burnt out from playing, but I was kind of like bittersweet that I could have won more, but I didn't, and it was sort of my fault that I ended up losing in the end. And I guess that's always how poker is. You always could have won more, right? And so I just was in that spot, and I like kept grinding through July and August, and I got midway to August, and I like sort of lost some of the money back that I ended up winning in the World Series, and I was even more frustrated because I knew I shouldn't have been playing. I should have taken some time off, but I just like kept grinding. And so even though I was in the midst of a downswing, and it's probably a shame, I should have like on paper worked harder to come out of it and then rewarded myself with a vacation, I realized like, look, I need to take a step back, and I need to do something now that shows me what I'm working for. I need to show myself what it is that I'm after, and why it is that poker is so incredible, why it is that being able to create the life you want is just like such an awesome thing. So I took a trip with Andrew Roble to Hawaii, and he was going out there after the World Series, and he invited me out, and him and I went together. We did this like amazing, crazy, like, you know, fun adventure in Hawaii. We stayed at these awesome resorts in Maui and Wailea, whatever. And we just had a blast, right, for 10, 12 days. And we just let go, let loose, and it was awesome. So when I came back, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And I was so motivated to be disciplined and work hard and focus that, you know, a couple weeks later, I was out of the downswing that I came through. So there's a few things that are important to like keep in balance here. I'm not saying you should just like completely be decadent and like reward yourself for being lazy, but at the same time, you need to find that balance between like indulging in activity and doing something that's inspiring to show yourself a taste of what is possible, of what is exciting. And so, like, in a way, you're sort of faking it until you make it, even if you're not at the point where you feel like you can afford it. I think you have to be financially responsible. You can't just like punt 70% of your bankroll or your money that you're saved up on a ridiculous luxurious vacation. But like, you can get a lot of the effect of doing something awesome that's inspiring you to keep going for the next couple months while spending a lot less money. So my point is here is that doing this doesn't have to cost a ton of money, right? You could take like a 3-day camping trip to the Grand Canyon, which can be just as meaningful, and I've done stuff like that many, many times. I happen to be filming this at a really nice resort, but it's really important, and I really want you guys to understand, like, I don't associate luxury with meaning, and I don't think that like luxury is necessary to have the impact that I'm talking about here in this video. So like a 3-day camping trip to the Grand Canyon, I've done stuff like that like numerous times. I went backpacking in Sequoia for Thanksgiving one time to get away, like all sorts of things like that cost literally like $200, right? And you could have all the same excitement and impact if that's what you're looking for with some of the things we talked about earlier. When you map out this sort of travel, like money doesn't have to be the factor. That's another big misconception, is like money is required for excitement and experience. It's really not, right? So challenge yourself to like look into the things that you actually enjoy and really map out how much they cost. And most of the time, people that like are looking to do excitement and adventure, people have a passion. Like my friend's a huge rock climber, he loves to go rock climbing, but it's like, how much does that cost? If you go to Joshua Tree in California and you go rock climbing and you backpack there, it's like a couple $100. It doesn't cost a lot of money. What it costs is like time and the courage to actually take a step away from your daily life and actually go do it. So I think that I've used this tool in my past to like find inspiration in things that I'm doing when I get in projects, and I'm very like all in on everything I'm doing. I'm 100%, like even here filming videos, I love this like energy, but I need to detach and separate from doing that. So anytime I find myself below 100%, I use this little strategy and try and find myself doing something that shows me what is possible and what I'm working for and what is inspiring in my life. And then when I go back, I'm like reset and I'm kind of recharging my batteries before they get empty, if you will. So I hope you took something away from this video. I'll be updating you guys when I get to Macau. I'll be there next week, and yeah, a lot more fun, cool, exciting adventures. So I hope you're enjoying these vlogs, and yeah, more cool stuff coming your way. All right, take it easy, guys. See you next time. Ciao from Koh Samui. I don't know how they say bye in Thai, but they have to have a word. Anyway, whatever that is, bye from Thailand. See you guys next time.